against any top team there, it would massively boost those rankings. So it will be all important. But hopefully on the way in just a second and we can get things started with what should be a very interesting, I think, especially map number 1 with probably all the question marks around Nemiga. It's been a tough map for them. They've struggled to put the performances up. Let's see if they can rectify some of these issues. 1-6 they come in towards this game. So let's see whether they can fix that. But we are live. Flux starting on the CT side. Nemiga have chosen to start on the T side. And on the most T-sided map in the pool, I like that. I think it's a decent one to go for.
Yeah, it definitely makes a lot of sense. They want to try and get this early control. We may likely see this map, as we said, setting the pace for the entire series. Nothing too crazy in terms of utility, just one smoke and one flash. They're going to, I think, bring this towards middle in the early stages. Soulfly is left alone to guard here. They've split 2 towards either bomb site, and you can see he's just playing for a little bit of info. Spots 1, wants to stick around for a moment so he doesn't let them freely drop down, although can't really afford to stay in a position where he's going to lose his life, instead falling back again. And at this point now, the question is, does he call for any assistance? It doesn't seem like anyone is budging because they have no idea which site this split is going to be towards. We know, of course, that it's going to be towards B. That info yet to be obtained. The Soulfly looks like he's making the incorrect decision, unfortunately. That's going to leave Paz and leave that Scrunk now to try and hold it down on B. A little bit of presence being shown towards A, though, as well, just to see if they can perhaps even pull another rotation in this direction.
It's a very weird round. This mid-rounding by Nemiga could actually end up working in their favor. Back over towards this site, and Skrunk's got to go huge here. Spots out one. Does get deleted in a 1-for-1 trade there. As can't find Skrunk. Paz delivers on towards Lear, but Bomb will go down. And this is a pretty mean post plant to work with as well. I say that. Khan goes down. That's the P250 dropped, and this gets a little dicey. P250 now recovered. Banjo on the flank. This round could fall apart very quickly. Soulfly still hitting shots, still trying to deliver, but he's now all on his own in a 1 versus 2. Risky Bob and Zwei to try and lock it down. All they have to do is play time, and Zwei sees it off. His 3rd kill of that pistol round, so good start for the youngster.
Yeah, immediately in with 3 kills. We were saying he can be a little bit hit or miss, so the fact that he comes through, gets a nice 3k, and I like the idea of the pistol round as well. It wasn't anything too crazy, just throw a little bit of, just make your opponent question what's going on, really. They kept it simple, but worked well together. And it looks like we're going to be seeing the straight up force buy out of Flux. They don't want to try and play for an early buy. Instead, it's heavy on the MP9s, a couple of 5.7s. Sensei keeping some money to try and get the op out early on if they need it, but the hope, of course, is to try and steal this one away, or at the very least make it incredibly costly. We're seeing 1 AK and a couple of Galils, so Nemiga, I mean, they're playing safe enough, but they've made sure that they have a decent spotty utility behind the purchase. I don't like this for Skrunk. This could be real dangerous. I'm not sure he's aware. Risky Bob is so close already. Eats a nade and really doesn't take all that much damage, just drops the smoke and backs off, so still no casualties as of yet in this early stage.
Yeah. Now, that potentially could have been very dicey. In the end, it wasn't. We've gone for the force buy here for Flux. We got a triple MP9, double 5.7. In particular, I'm looking at those 5.7s. They are so strong at the moment. 1-shot, headshot at close range. I think I've been talking about this for a while on my cast and saying that I think value for money, the 5.7 is the best gun in the game. With the MP9 being a close second, in all fairness. Swing and a miss, though. Soulfly does get 1, but the Mac-10 and the Glils are doing a good job of just breaking open this B site. There was a potential risk looming there, but it gets eradicated nice and quickly. Last one of Banjo. Big flank for him, but I'm not expecting a hell of a lot. And he's been spotted. He does get his kill, but he's a known quantity now. It shouldn't be a risk.
Yeah, I was going to say it'd be nice if he could just keep the bit of money, and that's exactly what he's going to go for. Back away, doesn't even risk trying to see if he can hunt down the weapon on the player that died or anything. He knows it's pretty unlikely. Just hoping maybe someone exits and gives him an extra kill. It would be worthwhile if he takes out one of those rifles.
Yeah, a little weird. I mean, if he can get something at the end, that'd be nice. But I think, unfortunately, what's going to happen here is they're not going to exile in his direction. And for Flux, they've basically only got this MP9 heading in towards the next round. They're not really going to have a buy around it. Sensei will probably try and keep as much money on hand as possible once the AWP out in towards this next round, the full gun round for Flux. So Nemiga should be a pretty simple 3rd on the board, all things considered. And a nice round there on towards B. Back-to-back B hits, both times, very solid.
We might see something crazy coming out of Flux, though. Maybe those pistols get aggressive, the MP9, to back them up and see if they can pull off something tricky to at least get a couple of kills out of this round. I doubt we'll see anything too standard, although they've gone kind of heavy on the Desert Eagles as well, so with the Deegs in play, they might not want to get too aggressive. Hold a couple angles, see if the headshots can come their way instead, and just trust in the skill that they have available, of course.
Yeah.
It seems like a slightly slower round from Nemiga as well, aware that there's not as much to go against, and there may just be something tricky waiting around one of these corners.
Just up. Nate does a decent amount of damage as well to continue softening up on towards Sensei.
Yeah,
this
somehow
could get a little hairy.
There was another player beside him that didn't take any damage somehow.
Oh, hello. Hang on. This is looking a little hairy. Double MP9 kill for Banjo. He's still alive as well. They know where he is, but a double swing. That's mean. An AK and a Glil now on the floor to be recovered. It's a 2 versus 4. Nemiga about to let a freebie slip away to basically a nothing investment.
Skrunk needs to just try and stay alive, at least take one of them low if he can before going down. Those, I believe, have still some assistance there from Paz as well, hiding in on the bomb site also, but they're not able to do anything about the bomb plant itself. Xanter covers off well, takes Skrunk out of play, and as the bomb goes down, things get much scarier here. Sure, they have a couple of smokes to work with to lock those angles off, but there's no kit in play, which is going to be a big issue as that time ticks away.
At least having that bomb down really helps Nemiga in this spot. Flashbang round. Forces Paz to take pop shots. Now they know where he is. Smoke down towards main, but it's this Dark player in E-Box that probably does all of the heavy lifting, and it's why as well. Anyone you want in this spot, it is him. The spam from Xanter is excellent. Soulfly, his shoulder spotted. Down goes Zwipe. This round should be done, and it will be on time alone. An AK not saved. Yeah, down goes Soulfly as well. So, honestly, 5 kills there for Fireflux, was 1 being to the bomb. I actually think they're pretty happy with that. Considering they didn't really have an investment, and they're forcing Nemiga into a full rebuy, I actually think Fireflux can take a real silver lining from that.
Yeah, I mean, there'll always be that little bit of disappointment, but as you said, considering they went into the round with a single MP9, Banjo was able to feed up money on that MP9. Sensei already had what he needed to save towards getting the op. It means they come in with a very strong buy now, and they have a good chance of breaking down the Nemiga early on. So as you said, a lot of positives to be taken from that round. We need to see if Fireflux are going to be making the mistakes of these early challenges again. I think they were feeling perhaps a little bit overconfident in that previous round, considering they weren't up against much, and then the MP9 surprised them. Banjo, some early aggression. It looked like we didn't quite catch it, but he was falling back once we did join him. And it was probably a good idea, as there's 2 players currently moving in towards B. Man wants to take the fight, and it doesn't work out. Sensei now is pinned forward with this AWP, and I believe they know he's there. They do indeed. Trapped in place, can't do anything as the quickscope misses. And that's the A bomb site, unfortunately, being overrun now. I don't think there's really much that they're going to be able to do about it. You can see Skrunk even pushed out from B. He's actually trapped here with 2 players, pinning him down below, and at this point, really, Nemiga can do anything as long as they regroup and just take this bomb together. It's only Soulfly left standing. He's already been forced into, I would imagine, the save here without really much of a decision. They might even try and hunt it. I know their money's not amazing after that previous round, but might still be worthwhile.
Yeah, unfortunately, for Fireflux, they come back in with that full buy. Their first true gun round as well, and pretty immediately just get eviscerated. It's a really nice response from Nemiga and what is about to be, at least at this rate, a flawless round as well. So, love and life for them. I just wonder whether Soulfly can keep this rifle alive. Just having anything for Fireflux would massively help their credentials in towards the next. But Nemiga 4-0, you'd expect probably 5-0 to follow it, considering the buy is going to be a little lesser for Fireflux. Good position to be in. Soulfly just trying to be a bit of a proactive save. I don't know whether he was spotted. He might have actually been. Xanter, right idea, but down he goes as well. This save that becomes infinitely harder, though. They know where he is, and he's pincered in. He should be a dead man, and he's now tagged and dropped. White sees him off, continues his run of form. 7-2 for the youngster in the opening 4 rounds is not bad. Nemiga, a flawless start, continues.
Yeah, impressive indeed. I like the initiative Nemiga were willing to take there towards A main. Despite being smoked off early on, they flash through, they take that early engagement. They know they have the upper pinned down as well. They isolate him, and then they still don't overextend on it in towards the bomb site. They manage to, again, to get another punishment towards the player who had pushed out of B main as well. So, just overall good work. They're willing to slow it down. They read what was going on, and despite having the 5-on-1 in the end as well, they also didn't try and throw anything away too quickly. They waited until they were ready to try and even hunt that final player. As Soulfly goes for a mad push out of that mid-smoke. I like the idea. The flash did work well. Unfortunately, there was one player playing anti-flash. So, shut down pretty quickly.
There was a moment there. It could have been a little awkward, but in the end, not to be. The squad again, of course. Not a huge amount to work with. Sensei going to get caught as well. This might be another simple one with an Nemiga. You play your default, you wait for the fights to come to you, and as we're seeing now, they're winning them with relative ease.
Yeah, Fireflux definitely seem to want the very aggressive CT side from what we've seen here in these early rounds. I mean,
yeah.
two of the rounds, I suppose, the previous one where they had success with the MP9 and now this one as well, they are on weaker investment, so you would expect them to try something, but unfortunately, it's individual peaks coming in, no one really backing anyone up, so they're not plays that I would really expect much to come from. Even if they were to win the initial engagement, it would just be a pretty quick trade, most likely.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, moving forward. Smoke off in towards camera for that connector rotate. It's a triple stack here towards A, and the bomb... I mean, with the setup, with the smoke down towards Khan, it does feel like that's where they're trying to set up a Scrunk. Yuto in hand gets caught. Nice shot by Khan. And now they're starting to scale up in towards the side. 5-7 up close. Tries to get a kill. Will do as well, but Paz now all alone. 5-7 still damn good for a double, but it's a 5-0 start. Nemiga thriving here in Anubis.
Yeah, they do seem to be on point, but it also seems like we have a slightly disorganized Fireflux here in the early stages.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's just teething issues throughout the first few rounds, because despite saying that I was somewhat leaning towards Nemiga for the 2-0 based on the map pool, I was still expecting Fireflux to be putting in a good scrap on both of these maps at the very least.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is sort of the Fireflux that I've witnessed recently. I feel like maybe I'm even their sort of curse at the moment. I've only seen rough performances from Fireflux, unfortunately. Oh, nice shot from Sensei. Does take a tag, but catches Xanta on the swing. Eats a grenade following it, but with an AWP, he doesn't really mind being a little low.
Yeah, it's the start that they needed. Taking out Xanta as well, who's been fairly impactful so far. They do still have the youngster of Zvi alive, though. So Nemiga slow things down. I don't think Fireflux are really going to be throwing any more players at them, which is how they'd found their success, really, in those earlier rounds. Instead, they're the ones now who have to press the issue, flash in towards mid. Soulfly gets completely blinded, can't catch the angle either, but his teammates are there for the refrag. And I believe they know they have the other player pinned behind the door, but never mind, it's only Scrunk who takes the fight. I thought Banjo was still there to back him up, but he had actually decided to fall back to the bomb site where, well, fortunately he had, because it was being pushed in on, but I don't know if this is going to be good enough. They're losing players elsewhere. It's 2 versus 2 suddenly, and I believe the bomb's on its way back around towards this A bomb site right now.
I think you're right. It's 2v2. It's probably not in a good spot for Fireflux. You're going to have to bank on the retake here. There is one close enough, but not committed through heaven just yet. Banjo. It might actually even be the play here for Banjo, just to not really try and fight and wait for support. But Molly in towards heaven. Bomb will get itself planted, and AWP now posted on the angle. This is a good position for Khan to play from. It's being held for, but a swing and a find from Banjo is beautiful. Looking for Leah, spots on his head, swing and a find again. Brilliant work from Banjo. It's a nice round from him individually. And that will be, finally, a first round for Fireflux.
Yeah, 2 surviving isn't perfect for stability, but they do bring the op over most importantly. Good set of utility behind that as well, so he can get the drop into a teammate. And well, they should have a pretty solid buy here, but it is going to be the entire economy invested in, so they cannot afford to lose this round or they will be in trouble. The 2,900 loss bonus only.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately just the position that Fireflux are in, right? Because even, you know, the one round we've now seen them win, because it was so expensive, it means that the CT economy, which we already know is so difficult to stabilize as a whole, is still really in flux. It's a 5-1 start, but I think for Nemiga, they're not too upset. You know, it's a round loss, sure, but they're still in a much more comfy spot. I mean, this is a big swing round, though. Both sides have got lesser economies. If Fireflux can win this, this could reignite this Anubis CT side.
Khan on the off now as well. We'll see if we'll perhaps see a little bit of a battle between him and Sensei. So far it's been the rifles leading the way. even in the early engagements for the CT side when they've wanted to try and throw out some aggression. For now, though, mid being pretty much abandoned by Flux. They have lost players around there a couple of times already, and you can see that's why Nemiga have gone back to this area to try and probe it. See if that success perhaps would come again. It didn't, but they are willing to leave a player just so that they have the presence and open up future routes towards either of these bomb sites. Looks like they are going to aim towards B.
Let's see.
Oh, pass.
Let's go momentarily quiet. Yeah, it's a nice nade that does soften up Lear a little bit. Risky ball playing behind. They're going to wait for that smoke to fade, but it's not going to give Nemiga a lot of time here on the execute. They sort of got to go. The second that smoke fades, we've got to move. First, easy. Can't transfer on towards the second, so they're scaling up now as well. Flashbang over towards main, trying to keep them at bay. It's just Y over there. Molotov goes in towards dark, and they're moving their way forward. Swing, and they miss for the first fight, but in the end, cleaned it up. Flashbang through the smoke is bold from Soulfly, and he will get a kill. Time is ticking. Bomb will go down. Can't deny that. And at what feels like an impossible 1v3, Car gets caught back turn. Banjo gets a second look with a third. Oh, and he's so damn close. Zwei, 3 points of HP, but he just about wins it out.
Banjo is doing everything he possibly can in this game right now. You can see he's hitting a bit of another level in comparison to the rest of his team. Hoping that maybe he can ignite a fire under the rest of them, but fortunately he wasn't able to pull off that clutch in what we said was such a crucial round. 2,900 loss bonus leaves 4 of them just about in position to buy, and that might be something they're even discussing during this timeout right now.
Yeah.
Letting the 7-1 lead go is going to be a pretty grim position to put themselves in. It might be necessary. I was going to say maybe pistols and Kevlar is the way to go, but no, they want the M4s.
All right, well, bold call. But I feel like you're at the point now for Flux where maybe making bold calls is sort of the way to try and rectify this situation, which is still looking a little worse for wear. 6-1 though. Nemiga are pretty happy. They've already guaranteed worst case scenario, tied game at the turn of the half. But the way they're playing, you'd be so surprised they don't get at least one more.
Yeah, Nemiga are on track for a fantastic half here. As you said, chose the T side, knowing this is where they could put in a good half, but you still need to actually perform, and they've definitely been doing that. Xanter, again, loves to open up this B-bomb site, as we've seen. They have pinned the other player down in towards connector. That's just Skrunk with an MP9 smoked off. There's nothing that he can do about the bomb plant. Does have a second player there, and I think at this point he might already be wanting to consider a save. Especially now. Skrunk is screwed as well. No, he got away. Yeah, okay, that's a miracle. Get the M4 off the body if he can and just get the hell out of there.
Exactly. Keep hold of what we've got. Let's not play any risks or gambles here. Let's just save and kind of group up and once again just make that pretty... You know, it's an awful call, but again, for Flux, I think it's the best decision. You're 3 staying alive, you can buy back in, no issues. If it goes down to 2, though, that's where money's probably so feeble that the best you're getting out is a half bite and kind of resetting for the next. Nemiga, not a casualty again. You know, another flawless round for them. They are thriving right now. There's no competition. Unfortunately, Flux are offering up little to nothing at the moment that gives us hope. And the worst case about this is that, you know, this is their map pick. This is meant to be their real kind of strong pick and honestly a big punish pick on paper to Nemiga. But whatever issues they've been facing for a while, it seems like they've obviously cleared it up heading in towards this series.
Yeah, everything just seems to be clicking today, and by that I mean Zwei is clicking on heads well, so is Xanter. Yeah. Risky Bob not doing too bad. Hasn't even had to really wake up on the op yet. He's just been chilling mostly. Not that we've seen him miss any shots or anything like that, I don't think. He just hasn't really had a chance to do a lot. His riflers have been opening things up so well onto these bomb sites and trading effectively every single time. I mean, the closest rounds we've seen from Flux was Banjo's near 1v3. And Banjo's round where he took out multiple with an MP9. Oh, that was risky. Oh, and actually it's Skrunk who goes down. Paz exposed himself for a moment. I thought he was about to lose his life, but his teammate instead making the exact same mistake. It allows for Xanter to just wander in through the connector, and well, again, they've lost the bomb site with no hope of a retake, no option but to save, this time only 2 being carried over. They do have a little bit of money on the Paz and enough on both of these players to be able to drop at least, so again, they'll get another full buy, but at this point, the rounds are just running away from them. And I don't think both will survive. Nemiga can definitely hunt this down, or at least give it a go.
Top spot. Looks like they're gonna have a look in. Why? Another easy multi-kill round for him. 12-3 so far for the youngster. This Kadir player to watch is really working out for the better. Sometimes we pick a player and unfortunately just doesn't show up to play, but my God, is he looking unreal. 128 ADR at the moment. Another buy to come through for Fireflux, but it honestly feels no matter what they bring to the table, it's not making a difference. This is a masterful display from the T side. 8-1 as we head in towards a tech pause. But this is looking like, you know, regardless of tech pause or not, this could be a very, very quick game.
Yeah, surprisingly so. If it keeps up like this, I don't think there's going to be much chance of us seeing a train, which I was looking forward to. I haven't actually got to cover one yet.
Yeah, same here. I've got to catch one, but I was really looking forward to it. I agree with you there. It would have been I feel like in this series in particular, kind of a super cool thing in terms of these two teams still trying to integrate it into their map pool. It really could have been something kind of spicy, but not to be. So unfortunately, tech pause here. Looks like, I'm going to assume from the Fireflux side, hence why no one's bought. But whenever we hear bits of typing, it's generally speaking a good sign.
Yeah, I think we might be dealing with a technical pause now rather than a tactical one. Hopefully nothing too serious on either side, whichever side's suffering. Nemiga, I think, would be a little bit annoyed if it breaks up their current good run of form.
True.
They have come out swinging in this game. Fireflux, on the other hand, probably need a moment to take a breather because nothing is working out for them. They've tried to play things slower and let Nemiga play into their CT defense. That hasn't worked out. They've tried the early aggressive peaks, albeit kind of reckless aggressive peaks, I would say. They haven't been well supported by flashes most of the times or players to back it up.
Yeah, I got to agree. Tech pause is concluded though. That's nice. So we're back underway. 8-1 for Nemiga. Even if it was to end 8-4, they are still pretty happy. But a similar thing as last time, right? Where it's, you know, the way they're playing right now, you kind of feel like they've at least got one more in the locker. If it was to get anywhere in the region of 9 or more, for me, map done. I don't see it being recoverable. I know this is a map that is generally revered as being T-sided, but that just feels like too big of an ask.
Yeah, at least 3 rounds. I think they give themselves a fighting chance off the back of the pistol going in their favour, I think is what Fireflux are going to be looking for. Without the pistol, though, either way, they're pretty much done for. At the very least, you want it to go in their favour so that they can kind of find their footing before moving on towards Ancient, where if they don't pick it up real quick, I don't think things are gonna look much better than this. So could be rough. Sensei using as little utility there as they bait it out towards middle, taking the control, but really they're not fully committed to either side. They have someone outside A, they have someone outside B. They're waiting to see what exactly Fireflux are going to give them. But the smoke's down for the moment. That's not going to be anything actually. So they're going to have to make this decision in the 5-on-5 about which site they want to take this towards with less than 40 seconds left now.
Yeah, it's true. Not giving yourselves a load of time, that is for sure. But this is sort of what's felt like a bit of an Nemiga special. Swing and a miss from Sensei. Just get a tag, but he gets deleted. Can't. Shotgun opening up close. He'll deliver. 20 seconds. We've got to go though, boys. Time is ticking. Looks like they're making a very late mid-round call to go back over towards B. This could work out for the worst. Support coming through. Paz will catch one on the cross. Looking for a second. Delivers on towards that as well. But in the flames, down he falls. And so the CT defenses. Bomb will go down. 1 versus 2. Everybody is tagged. And Soulfly spamming. 5 bullets in the mag as well. And it's enough for the kill on towards Lear. Upgrades to an AK-47. Spots out one. And Xanta clutches up big. 9 rounds for Nemiga. It's close for Fireflux, but close isn't enough.
Damn, Xanter's on point at the moment. Very tight angle right there as well that he had to get that kill on. Just shuts it down immediately. 9-1. Not enough money this time around for Fireflux to really get the buy, so they are going to just spend a small bit and see if they can play for the, I guess, 10-2 half at this point, which is not where you want to be. Even with the pistol round, they're still going to be miles away from getting themselves back into the game, so this is incredibly rough right now. Got a 5-7 again in play. We didn't get to see it do too much earlier on. Let's see what Banjo has to say right now. He's popped off on a couple of these weaker buys, so perhaps it's going to happen again. There we go. He gets the first kill, a second to back it up. Does get a little bit overzealous, I'd say, trying to take that final swing.
It felt a little unnecessary, but Scrunk got a big kill there, and no escape for Lear as well. So this should be finally a second round for Fireflux, unless things go drastically wrong. But Zwei solo now, 1v2, and he's seen off by Sensei in the end. It's a sigh of relief, I think, for Fireflux. I really felt like, as you kind of touched on, they overextended in towards water there, and it very nearly goes wrong. It's a second round, but the best they can do in this half is 3. It still doesn't instill confidence in you.
Yeah, I think maybe they wanted him to continue going aggressive, but maybe he went like a second or so too early. I think his job was to kind of push the players back out into the canal area there, where they could be seen by the other aggression coming down from B, which I wasn't initially aware of. So I think maybe I was a little bit harsh on him, but it still seemed a little bit reckless either way, even if it was planned, as Paz gets incredibly reckless with that push over towards A long. A second kill found onto Banjo as well, who's been instrumental in every single round that Fireflux have even had a fighting chance in, let alone actually won.
Yeah, he's been kind of the only consistent factor stepping up. When you look at the kind of the scoreboard, Sensei 2 and 9, Scrunk 1 and 10 is it's tough to see. Soulfly and Paz have had their moments too, but it's basically only been Banjo who's on kind of consecutive rounds been stepping up in that way. It's a 5v3 though, and this is really looking like a 10th looming here. Tough old spot. A minute left to work with, and Nemiga, as they always are, in no rush.
You know, 45 seconds to choose which site they want to move towards, and all they have to do is trade out effectively, and really there shouldn't be too much worry. They're leaving one player to lurk around on A, hoping maybe if he gets this kill that it could pull the rotation. The timing for Sensei is horrible. Oh, he's going to be smacking his desk after that one.
Catches one on the creep though, so that will at least help out.
Crazy smokes.
Yeah, tiny tag. 15 seconds though. We are running towards A and hoping that no one's here. Can't. Trying to stop them. He doesn't go down to the nade, so he can now catch the cross in. He's trying to get out, and he does. This is a wild spot though. Bomb just goes down in time. Swing and a hit. 10-2 half. What a performance coming through from the Nemiga on their opponent's map pick. We'll see if they can continue it after the break. Alrighty, welcome back. That was a very, very quick and dominant display from Nemiga. 10-2, a no-show from Flux. The task ahead of them here feels, honestly, nigh on impossible, if we're being completely honest. So, it's a really rough predicament that they are in. Flash in, it's got to be a stellar T-side. It's all going to start with this pistol. You lose this pistol round for Flux, and, I mean, simply put, you're done. There's no way of getting back into this.
Yeah, even with it in their corner, it's going to be a very long road ahead. I'd like to see them take it, ideally convincingly, and then a couple of clean rounds off the back of it to really get things going. It's going to be Sensei who opens it up, finds that aggression out towards B. They've also left Banjo with a hold on, as you can see outside that A main position, but the heavy presence really is towards mid. Santer's alone with dual Berettas if it does come in this direction, so he's got the weaponry he'd probably want to hold it off, but, well, with the early loss, I was going to say it looks like he's tempted to rotate off. Instead, gets caught in rotation and hits a nasty headshot. Scrunk goes down, but the trade is at least in place, so the man advantage remains for now with Flux. They're not going to continue that push in through mid, instead falling back, but they've only got 35 seconds to get this towards one of the bomb sites, and they're running into Zwei, who was a monster in that first pistol round, and again is making it happen. 2 headshots in a row to lock down this A bomb site. It's going to be Can here to help as well. Sorry, B bomb site, of course, but yeah, it's another kill from Zwei. We don't get to catch it, but Can's headshot is clean either way. I keep saying the wrong bomb site.
That is Anubis, to be fair, in a nutshell.
Yeah.
It feels like they should be flipped, but either way, 11-2. Wow, what a performance again from Nemiga, and another great pistol round coming through from them. And unfortunately, for Flux, I mean, without a bomb plant, you can buy back in, but there's so little that you can bring to the table. It just doesn't instill confidence. We've gone for that force buy. It's 1 Mach 10 and a few Tech 9s to hope for the best. I mean, you are really clutching at straws here. And it is now or never. You lose this one, it's a similar sort of buy heading into what is most likely the last round of this map.
It really is all or nothing. They'll be on a similar enough buy in the next round if this one doesn't work. Zwei was taking a very aggressive angle, one that does not allow him to fall back once he's caught out of position. And, well, yeah, not able to get any of the kills either. Does pretty decent damage, though, I've got to say.
Yeah.
Especially with those SMGs in play.
Yeah, he really does soften them up. Makes you believe there might still be a chance. Smoke down as well towards A. Will probably at least convince Flux they might want to look elsewhere. The question is where. I mean, they're all are so, they're all so low that, I mean, those MP9 should be able to shred, especially if they group up as well. It could get really messy.
Where the hell did the M4 go? They got blown out of their way by a nade or something.
Yeah.
They walked past where you went down, but weren't able to recover it. Instead, it's just still these Tech 9s. They're going to be useful at close range, though. There we go. Can had no idea. Another backstab, perhaps on Risky Bob. They knew where he was. The footsteps must have been heard by that player outside of main. So they zeroed in on his position, and with the bomb going down, I think he just saved these 2 final MP9s.
I think you're right. Finally, a bit of success from Flux, but even then, it feels a little too late, right? So, you know, the recovery still required is, it's still mammoth. No 2 ways about it. It's better than nothing, though, and I think the way to approach this, as we've going to always talk about in these massive deficit situations, 1 round at a time. You can't think long term. You can't think about, okay, we've got to recover this map. It's our map pick, this, that, and the other. You've just got to think 1 round at a time in a very kind of micro sense of it and just hope things slot into place. Whether they do, of course, is a completely different factor. But good round for Flux nonetheless. One that they'll gladly take. But we've got to find consistency. We've got to find consecutive rounds by this side to, once again, reinstill just a bit of hope from us that they've at least got something in the locker.
Get 1 M4 at least in play, with a mass as well. Zwei and Xanter, though, who've been 2 of the stronger players, are stuck on the MP9s, which isn't ideal. Fair enough that Lear doesn't want to trade his M4 over, though, I would say. Hasn't been playing bad by any means either.
Yeah, and you kind of feel like with these guys, they can sort of make them work. Paz is having a little pressure come his way, and at range will lose out to Lear. There's now a potential recoverable AK there. They might want to continue pushing. Mac 10, he'll be traded out by Scrunk. Go for the better weapon, and actually just fall back. I like that call. Get out of there. Con. Right idea. Get a tag, a dink on towards Soulflower, but not enough. Soulflower walk away with the kill and keep the numbers in Fireflux's favor.
There's going to find some action, at least over in main. Backed up by Zvi as well. This is a dangerous combo for Fireflux to be dealing with. Do they flash in? No, but wow. It's Banjo on his MP9. He's a master of that weapon. We've seen it time and time again. Seems more successful than the rifle in his hands. And, well, they've traded their way successfully in towards this A-bomb site. Even Risky Bob alone. He still wants to have this fight, apparently. And, well, we'll take one more to the grave with him, but that's all it's going to be. It's a 4th round on the board for Fireflux. Only 2 players left standing though, so overall I'd say pretty decent damage was done. But they are now looking at an eco, so there's still a chance for Fireflux to go ahead and brush that off, take a clean round, and hopefully start building up not only some economy, but some confidence behind it as well.
Exactly, just start scaling in towards this game. Bit by bit, 1 round at a time, that sort of vibe. We'll see. It's... obviously, you know, for Nemiga as well, even just one a Deagle does make you a little nervous. He can hit some insane shots. 18 and 7 he finds himself at the moment, so without a doubt, loving life in the server. Grenades banking round. Should soften up Lear, and will. We're not expecting a lot from this round. If we could get, you know, a couple of kills on this basically non-existent investment for Nemiga, I think they'd be pretty happy.
The full stack in place for now, just hoping Fireflux might try and make a push without really scouting the bomb site. And, well, as I say that, they all swing out on main. 1 kill from Risky Bob, but the AKs are just too much to handle. Paz gets 4. Good control on that AK, and, well, they even just about get that bomb down for Sensei to get himself an extra 300.
Nice. The ecos will put in positive as well, so he'll take it.
11-5. Couple extra rounds in that previous half and you could have Fireflux in a real position to challenge right now. Instead, they're in a spot where a single mistake will pretty much cost them the game, so they do need to be flawless.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, flashing himself in. Spam through as well for the standard angle, but behind that smoke, nothing really there. But Nemiga, if you can come back in towards your first investment and make it stick, you just put all of that pressure back on the shoulders for Fireflux. But it's a lot harder. I think Nemiga, in the way they like to play Counter-Strike, they love to be the ones setting the tone, the ones who are dictating the pace of a game. So when you're in a spot like this where, you know, you're on that CT side and you're sort of waiting around, it can be where you get pulled out of place. And we've seen that happen a few times so far. So as much as it was a stellar first half, there's definitely gaps here for Nemiga on this CT side that are starting to show. The only issue is the crack's starting to show, but it's arguably still just too little too late. Paz going to find that entry, though, while we were talking towards B. No one else is home. So that bomb will just rotate back over. Honestly, Nemiga might just save.
Yeah, I mean, they have the rounds to work with. Bring the M4s forward. Dropping Risky Bob is going to be a difficult task, considering they're all pretty much on 0. But they still have the 4 M4s to be able to get the utility behind it again. And, well, Nemiga only really need 1 round, rather, to actually go ahead and at least confirm the safety of the overtime. So that's what they're going to play for right now. Good round from Fireflux. They'll keep 5 standing, and at the very least, they've got themselves in a position where they will be able to rebuy if they do lose that round.
Let's see.
They're waking up, though. This is what we needed. Otherwise, Ancient was going to be a very similar affair. And I'm not saying this is over, but at the very least now, I could see Fireflux having a good shot to come out swinging on Ancient, which didn't look possible about 4 or 5 rounds ago.
Yeah, no, exactly. We're clambering back into this. 11-6. Some streaks that are coming through. And at the very least, because it's T-side, when you get your T side rolling, that's where it does start to maybe give you a bit of belief and a bit of a chance. Let's see. At 11-6, we come back into the reinvestment for Nemiga. But Fireflux are starting to flourish. Just a little bit. At least enough so. They've got a lot of information here, though. Nemiga have pushed out. Zwei spots nothing in this direction. And he might even just stick around here. It's a really strong angle to hold.
Seeing anything really in the early moments of this round. Both teams know how crucial this round could be. Fireflux especially. Just about a minute remaining with no real damage having been done other than a little bit of nade damage towards Fireflux, but nothing substantial. Nemiga take a bit of a peek in towards mid, but they didn't fully look through with the smokes that were down, so Scrunk could start pressuring this position right now. They have someone probing around B as well. I do think the bomb's moving back in the direction of A right now, hoping to maybe just pull some rotations out of place, and I think they do have Khan at least being kept busy on mid. Never mind, Scrunk takes him out. Now it's just a single player left to defend that A bomb site. Sure, Xanter's had a pretty decent game so far, but this is a tall task.
It's a little weird. There's White, big flank for him. He needs to try and find some form behind it, but Paz is holding for exactly that extremity. This round, on paper, sort of basically feels like it's done. I think it will be. I don't really see Nemiga giving us a go. They kind of don't need to in a way, but you know, we've still got rounds to play with, but you are starting to let things get to a point of being, I mean, at least a little bit uncomfortable. No two ways about it. I would like to see a pause. Fireflux didn't call one at all, and I think it's probably worth mentioning. No attack pause is called by Fireflux, despite losing 10-2 in that first half, and looks like Nemiga kind of just doing the same here, letting each and every round just play out. This is a good opportunity for Box, the coach over towards Nemiga, just to slow things down and get on the mic and say, right, guys, this is what we need to be doing. Bit of a hunt here at the end. Thanks round. Oh, there was an option there. Nearly. Not to be, though, in the end. And actually pretty expensive, but Fireflux don't really care.
No, they've got the money. If they lose a round, they've only got to rebuy for the one anyway, so willing to hunt things down. 11-7, the first tactical pause being used by Nemiga. I maybe would have liked one to be called there a round or two ago, but they've still got a little bit of space to work with. But I would say that they'll probably start sweating pretty soon, especially if they lose out this round now. Things are getting quite dangerous. Sensei is still having a very, very slow game. So is Sprunk.
It's not looking good for those two. We do get a brief moment of respite.
If they wake up, though, that could be a difference maker to propel Fireflux potentially across this finish line.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Fireflux, as they're ramping up in towards this game, you're right. If they can come online, that could be that nail in the coffin that this comeback is doable. Nemiga have really, really fallen off the wagon here. They are quite rapidly falling apart. But that was incredibly close as Xanter's. He was just trying to have a little look in that smoke, and it very nearly cost him his life.
He's actually going to push out on mid here. Skrunk's holding for this aggression currently, so I don't know. She actually wants to go forward. Yeah, decides to just stick in around the double doors. Again, just a standard enough default for Fireflux, waiting to see where they can find these early openings. The flash is perfect. Lure sprays out quite a few bullets, I was going to say. Hangs on to enough to win out that fight if it came his way again, but just drops the smoke in the end and decides to back off because they have lost Xanter elsewhere. Again, Nemiga losing that first man without really much of an attempt at a return to be made. Not a lot of time though.
No, true. Another smoke down, risky Bob. playing behind it. Nate breaks it open. He loses that fight. It was either to the guns or to the Molotov, in all honesty. Now we're starting to ramp up in towards B. Smoke down in front of Lear. That's why he's got to do a lot of heavy lifting here. Only gets one. That's arguably not enough. And as down goes Lear, I think the AWP just saves again. Fire Flux have made this a 3-round game somehow.
Yeah, not at least likely to be saved forward, but 8 rounds on the board for Fire Flux seemed out of reach when this half begun. So Nemiga definitely should be worried at this point. This map is starting to slip away from them and things go south here. Sure, it is still their map choice coming up next of Ancient, but it's not a map that Fire Flux are terrible at. They don't play it a ton, but still one that they are willing to throw in every now and again.
Yeah, that's true.
And off the back of a comeback like this, they could be fired up enough to definitely make it happen.
That's true. 11-8 though. This game is getting dicey. Very, very dicey. We'll buy around this orb. I think that's the right call for Nemiga. At least some level of investment. Don't just leave it hanging here. Half buy in some regard. And that's what we're going for Nemiga. I feel like this is the right call. You don't have to fully invest in towards this one, but you know, any sort of, you know, a half buy just to support that AWP. And, you know, you have an M4 around it, a FAMAS 257. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it really feels like the buy is not the indicator at the moment. It feels like no matter what's being thrown their way, Fire Flux are overcoming these hurdles sort of with ease. 4 players here. Not towards Carpenter, 5th just lurking behind. This is going to be a quick hit towards A. There's actually only 1 player here of Xanta. He's alone in main. He's going to flash in? No, but he's going to fight. Bomb spotted. Rotation's got to come quick now as well. And Nemiga aren't moving. Even though they've seen that bomb go down, they are still staying true. They might want to go and recover, though. That 5-7. Lear... Sorry, the M4, may I say, is he's only got a 5-7. Zwei trying to move. Oh, my God. He gets caught, so does Khan. They tried to rotate through water, and that works against them. The safe rotate might have been the play here. 5-7 up close. So good. Bomb spills forward. Looking for a second. Gets it. The third was there, but not able to be delivered. 1v2. And they're toying with them a little bit. Comes back over for Lear here. A Molotov at his feet. It's technically a 1v1 on the site, but another smoke that comes down. And I don't know, for Lear, he's being held for. I don't think he can even get out.
No, he's pinned in currently. Still a bit of utility as well, I was going to say. Another smoke that can go down, a molly as well for afterwards. So really there is no hope of him getting out onto that bomb site. He decides to just save the M4 again. 11-9. With the M4 carried forward, they have the money at least to get another buy. But this is just getting away from them now. I don't know what they can do different really to start winning out rounds again.
No, you're all right. An extra kill will help, to be fair, on towards Banjo, but that is all you're really getting. And it's not the AWP too, so I mean, who actually really cares? Oh, tough spot that Nemiga are in. They have completely fallen apart. All credit is due though, Fire Flux. I think these T-side rounds are actually looking really nice. They're way more formulated. They're playing off each other. It seems like the ideas are starting to kind of have a little bit of fruition behind them, but man alive, how quickly this has fallen apart. Oh. Oh, Sensei holding. On the other side, of course, got an AWP for Khan, but he's been a little bit quiet all map, in all honesty, especially being the highest rated player for this team, and in particular being quiet, especially in this second half, where you really need him on the CT side. Find opening picks, find space, and all of the rest. They trade Molotovs in towards E-Box. Made behind it too. Risky Bomb wants to swing in. Nobody's there just yet.
Yeah, I don't think they want to keep fighting in towards the box room now. Fire Flux again just coming in with the same default. The hold towards A from the stairs. Waiting to see if anyone pushes out from B as well. And just slowly using their utility to chip away at both of these bomb sites and run down the smokes that they have as well.
45 seconds. Time ticking. We've got to make a move here, Flux. Bit of early damage being dealt both ways. Xanta tagged up a little bit. Same can be said for Banjo. Banjo's not in that dire of a spot, though. This AWP shot for Khan, I mean, this is a really tight angle, so asking a lot. This shot for him, and he will get out. He has the rifle of Xanta up close for support. Flashbang as well, in towards connected. This is getting really hairy. 18 seconds. We got to move. This bomb's got to get through this smoke. They're going to go dry as well. And they line up for Xanta. 3 kills to him. Finally, success for Nemiga. Better late than never. Last man is behind that smoke, and he should be dead momentarily. He's actually being pincered as well by Zwei, and he'll finally fall flat. My God, it's been a long time coming, but Nemiga hit that point.
Yeah, I mean, that default they'd been playing had worked well, but they had a few times gone into the sites without really too much info to work with, and this is finally a time that it backfires on them. There was still utility in play. It seemed like they might have made the right decision. They were heading towards the A-bomb site where there was 2 players initially. There was 3 stacked on towards B, but just held off by that utility for too long, and then Xanta popping off, of course, taking 3 as they come through the smoke. Fantastic work. They're actually going to be rocking a secondary op now over on the CT side as well, hoping that that's enough for them to put the nail in the coffin and stop this comeback from Flux that could still take it to an overtime for sure. 3 rounds in a row does not seem impossible after what we've seen throughout this half from them so far.
Let's see. Can Flux rekindle the form a little bit? Down goes Xanta. Nice flash and a find by Banjo. Oh my God. Oh no!
No.
Oh, Khan, that's a bad time to whiff. He's having a bad game, that's for sure, and it's sort of shown right there and then. That more or less sums up this half for him, and kind of this map as well, which has been very slow by his standards, but missing a sitter like that, I don't even know how he missed. It was harder to miss. Zwei, tagged up by the nade.
He pierced his ear.
Yeah, that is difficult. Difficult to miss that. He really panicked. He was so flustered in that spot. You will see a Molotov down. Sensei, another kill for him. Up close. AK. Zwei only gets 1. We probably needed a second behind it. Flash will catch Khan. He's in trouble. Down he goes. Yikes. This is a round that Nemiga want to forget very quickly.
Yeah, there again, left alone. He's been in this position a few times with no hope. Backing away to carry the M4 forward. They'll have everything they need, but again, it took them so long to get that single round just to find the security of the overtime. Do they have it in them to put 1 more on the board? In Flux, rather. Oh, nice. Good kill from Banjo, so no weapon saved. I was going to say they still haven't really had Sensei or Skrunk come alive. It's that trio of Soulfly, Paz, and Banjo that are just tearing Nemiga apart right now.
Yeah, it feels like they just don't need them. It really has been a solid display. Second attack ball is going to be called by Nemiga. What a crumble. What a very, very strange map as well of Counter-Strike. Both sides just non-existent on their CT, but Flux are within reaching distance. They are 2 rounds now away, and yeah, this is incredibly spicy. What a weird, weird game we're getting. At a 12-10 scoreline, though, it's a big buy-in for Nemiga. If you lose this, it is and should be completely done. There shouldn't be a way to get back into it, honestly, because your money's going to be broken. We probably are heading towards that overtime. And I feel like if we head towards overtime as well, that kind of might be it. That really might be where Flux, they've done the recovery mission, they've done the hard job, and Nemiga are just so distraught with how quickly things are falling apart. Can't get hold for the boost. Wants to try and make up after the mistakes of that previous round.
Yeah, a lot of mistakes throughout this half in general so far. Would like to see them grouped up so they can at least try and trade a bit more effectively, but again, mostly playing solos at the moment. Never mind, Khan is actually going to join the player around the box room here. Deeper smoke so that they can push Soulfly back and at the very least again try and run down this time, because that's how they won the round earlier on. They kept them back. They we're able to hang on to as much utility as possible for those final moments as well, just to keep it 5-on-5 rather, once that site hit does come true.
Just go a little quiet. Quiet before the storm that we've seen a lot with Fire, Flux, Laird. That's a super important opening kill. They needed Dart and a second behind it. Uh-oh. Just when it felt like the lifeline was extended, it might be crumbling. Right at the seams. This is dicey to say the least. Molotov down. He should be dead, and he will be. So down goes Khan to the flames. And Molotov, though, will keep Sensei at bay. He dropped a smoke to try and get out. And he's given that luxury at least 20 seconds, just less than, in fact. This is still a little weird. Down goes Paz. We might be falling apart here, but they're peeking towards the AWP. One player spotting towards back plat, and Risky Bob can't hit the shots. 2v2. Bomb will just about go down in time. Zwei is alive here. Nade comes over. It softens up a little bit, but this is all about that other player. It's all about Xanto on the flank, who gets his kill. Swing, and a hit for Zwei. Oh my god. They were made to work for that. That, without a doubt. It's going to end the 13-10 for Nemiga, but that was an ugly, ugly map of Counter-Strike. Both sides really looked worse for wear there. In the end, Anubis goes the way of Nemiga. A massive sigh of relief for them, but they completely fell apart in towards that second half. And, wow, at the same time as on Fire Flux, they just could not get started until it was too late.
Yeah, at the very least, though, they have woken up, and I believe that there is a fight. Yeah, and I believe we're just about ready to get going into this one. The pistol round, as you said, could be the difference maker. We saw Zwei, I believe, in both of those pistol rounds pull out 3Ks.
Yeah, I think you're all right. A lot of this comes down to what Zwei can bring to the table, but looks like we are live. Let's get map number 2 underway. It is a T-side start for Nemiga, so they're very happy with that. T-side, of course, is where they did their best work.
Only work, really.
Yeah, really, yeah. And they're going to be hoping for more of the same. Let's see. Either way, a very odd game of Anubis that we'll try and very quickly forget. Soulfly spots the shoulder, spots one into his elbow. A fight that Risky Bob really wants to take, but Khan will come in quick as well. Soulfly down a bit of trouble here. He should be dead. He is. And again, this is a good pistol round for that Nemiga side. They might go 3 for 3 here as well. It's a 2v4, and there's one man towards the site. Donut will be smoked. It's really dicey. They're just going to go through this as well. Scrunk, poor guy, on the reload, couldn't do anything. It's all down to Paz on a very tough rotate because he's blocked up by the molly.
Yeah, Paz alone. He's about to step into a very difficult angle to deal with both players. I was going to say taking it together, although Khan goes down, Risky Bob stays in position, and well, that is good enough for him to finish off the kill afterwards. Almost gave a shot at the 2 separate 1v1s, but it doesn't matter. Nemiga picking up the pistol round yet again. Zwei not the one that has to do all the work this time. Instead, it is spread across the board. Xanter and Risky Bob are both playing pretty well in that previous match as well for Nemiga, especially in the first half, of course.
Yeah, it's true. Very, very true. So, good start for Nemiga, continuing their flourishing pistols. And of course, in doing so, we'll get a force spy out for Fire Flux, but it's not exactly a, an insane one. So, expectations are it should be a 2-0 for Nemiga. If they can get that, the third is basically gifted with the low economy for Fire Flux. And it looks like it's going to be another hit towards A. And as we can see, no one's home.
Yeah, 1 kill already in favour of Fire Flux. It's a decent start. Mach 10 for Banjo. We know what he was like with the MP9. Let's see if he can do it with a Mach 10 as well. Zwei is going to clear this corner. He actually gets blinded, and Soulfly, somehow, while I believe Blind himself manages to get that kill before being traded out. Keeps the advantage in terms of the manpower for now over towards Fire Flux. The problem is with the bomb being planted, it gets quite a bit more tricky. There's no kit in play. Damage being done on both sides right now, weakening them up. But it's going to be Paz's Deagle that claims the next life, can get shut down, and well, without the kit, as I said, the defuse itself is still going to be pretty tricky. Risky Bob taking the initial fight, leaving Lear alone on low health. There's nothing that he can do about it. Scrunk flicks over and finishes him off. It's 2 for Scrunk. We said he was real quiet on that previous map. Coming through with 2 very important kills here, though, to go ahead and steal away that second round from Nemiga and to give Flux a real good chance here in the early stages to build up a lead. They've gotten 2 AKs out of it. They've got a Galil as well. They'll be able to get all the utility they could really ask for. And well, Nemiga, on the other hand, at best, they're working with a Force Buy here, which, as you can see, is going to fund a couple of Galils and some pistols.
Yeah, honestly, I think that it's such an important round for Flux to win it. You know, the pistol round is one thing, but that force buy is ultimately more important. We'll get a force buy in response, of course, with that bomb plant for Nemiga, but it's nowhere near as healthy. Double Galil, a triple deagle buy around it. Big awesome. Nice shots have got to be here. Here's White. We're looking at him in particular. Had a good, first map, no two ways about it. A little slow in that second half, but that was the case for everybody. Xanta moving his way forward. Oh my god. Where is the team comms? How has he got out there just like that so easily? Banjo, thankfully, going to get a kill before he falls. Flashbang will catch White. This is still a little weird, but thankfully cleaned up in the end. There was a moment there, some kills could have very quickly gone the other way, but in the end, not to be. That one kill towards Long in particular was what I was looking at, but doesn't end up coming to fruition. 2 rounds in a row for Flux. What you want to see, breaks the economy of Nemiga. Good start for them on CT side. Already looking better than they did in that first half. They're going to get this one. They should get this one. And they've already got more rounds than they did in towards Anubis. So that's a win in itself.
Yeah, and as you said, unless they do something really bad in this round, they shouldn't really be losing it, let alone losing really any of the firepower that they have. Keeping 5 alive should be the goal here up against the full set of Glocks and just a single flash. Nemiga, though, they had a bit of success walking into B in that previous round. As you said, the communication seemed to be lacking, so they're hoping they can maybe exploit that again. Not quite there, though. Paz with the AK pushed up aggressive out through B with the backup of Soulfly. Doesn't actually get anything himself, but it is going to be Soulfly who comes out with 3 kills without taking really any damage, so that shouldn't be too much trouble as a fort goes down, looking for the ace. Skrunk steals it. Can't let him build up too much self-confidence.
Of course,
keep him in his place.
Oh, well. 3-1. Flux, we've already done better than map 1. We will take that at any sort of point, right? And I think now for Nemiga, come back in towards the buy. This is where you've got to settle the tone, right? You've got to come back in towards this one and just say, these early rounds, not what we want to see. Can we find this form and kind of build on this T side that has been so strong for us in this game? Towards mid has been an issue which, unfortunately for Nemiga, they haven't really been able to get too much elbow control, basically at all. A lot of the game plan so far feels pretty reliant on this A site, and as we can see for Flux, there's actually nobody here. So I can even just get 1 kill into his elbow. It could be huge, but he can't. Down he goes. A site still opens. That in itself is massive. Bomb should go down momentarily. Can't. Nice shot. And they'll take Donut control with that. That's very important. You got Risky Bob lurking in towards mid. A player now in Donut for support, and a plant for Donut as well. This is a really decent post plant to be in a 4 versus 4.
Yeah, not a bad position, as you said. They don't really have any utility, though, which could be an issue. Only a couple of flashes on the T side. There's one smoke that goes down over towards Main. Unfortunately, that's not going to make much of a difference. As you can see, Nemiga playing very aggressive on the after plant, but they are getting wiped out, leaving only Risky Bob again in towards Donut. Takes the first kill, jumps across the bait out the shot, and makes sure that defuse isn't being stuck. And as you said, there's no longer any time. He manages to win it out on the time alone. It's an AK. No, it's not an AK being saved forward for Skrunk, unfortunately.
You'll take the raw wins there, I think. It's very expensive towards Nemiga, so this buy back in around it is still going to be a little funky, but all in all, you'll take anything that you can get in that sort of spot. So, nice work. Nemiga second on the board, and pretty immediately starting to put pressure right back on. Exactly what we want to be seeing as well. Start to prove that we've got some nice ideas on Ancient, and prove to us why we've picked in towards this map as well, over the others that were, potentially there in terms of selection. There's a few different ways that this could have gone as well, and, we debated that map pool a little bit. So let's see if this Ancient is the right decision. Flux don't look too bad so far. Hit towards B might be the play here. It's fantastic. Flashbang, but actually too good because it works in Paz's favor. Skrunk will come in as well. Banjo there for support. This is falling very quickly apart. Molotov towards Long. This is super dicey right now.
Yeah, I mean, the damage that's being done, though, you've got 2 players low, all 3 of them here in the back lines. If there was a flash, it would be perfect, but they don't have one. Instead, it's Dry Peaks that have to come in. Can trades it out again, leaving Sensei alone and on 20 health here. That nade may have given him a false sense of security. Indeed, he put the nade down, figured, okay, well, obviously he wasn't coming around that corner anymore, but Can had already bypassed it and decided to just tank the little bit of damage that it did to him. And it works out in the long run. That's going to be a 3rd round for Nemiga on the board. And, well, the economy now has been run down on the side of Fire Flux. They've got enough that they aren't going to be really considering the force buy, I wouldn't imagine. Take the 1 eco, maybe a couple of pistols at most.
Yeah.
Focus on coming back strong, hopefully, throughout the rest of the half.
I mean, at the very least, though, I'm happy to see a pretty early tack pause get called. This is something that they just didn't do in towards that first half. They just let it run away from them. So I like this call at the release, even if there's not going to be an investment around it, just to take a breather, just to try and say, okay, when we go back in towards our gun rounds, what have we been noticing so far from Nemiga? Which I think the main thing to be calmed is just how quick they're playing these rounds and how reliant they are. You know, they get an entry towards the site, they commit towards it. There's no gimmicks, no fakes. That is the decision being made, and I think in a way that's sort of something that they can hopefully try and utilize a little bit themselves and saying, all right, we've got ideas of what we're going to do. But a 3-all should be made for Nemiga. If they can get anywhere in the region of sort of 6 rounds on C-side, I'm actually pretty happy. This is a map that it's no longer super CT-sided, but it still feels like a lot of teams find more of their comfort there. Banjo, a nice shot on towards Karma. The Deagle rings off for the first. Oh, that was, again, potentially quite dicey. Thankfully, Risky Bob does clear that. So we've got an entry towards A. We're not committed just yet, but the bomb is in that direction.
Yeah, pretty far back, though. It's not really ready for a commitment. I guess they're in a position where they could hightail it if they were to find some further aggression, but I don't think they want to press the issue quite yet. They still have over a minute on the clock. They know the buy is pretty weak for Fire Flux as well. I think they're expecting something to come their way, some sort of push, some coordinated effort, and that's what we're getting in on mid right there as Skrunk hits a nasty deagle shot. Savai very quickly taken out of play. I believe that was one of the rifles as well. They're going to regroup again on mid. Yeah, the Galil gets recovered. But a 3-on-4 here is getting very risky. Sensei just needs to stay alive. Call for some assistance here. The nades piled in on top of him. Without the Kevlar, there wasn't much that he could do. This bomb site now is under threat. Soulfly is going to need to hit some crazy shots. He hits the first one, falls back in behind the smoke, and I was going to say hopefully just stays alive, but no, he wants more. He is hungry for the kills, and it backfires. Blinded as he came through the smoke. Skrunk wanted to add some more deagle kills to his name as well. Gets dinked through the corner of the wall instead, but he did delay the bomb plant, and with only 9 seconds remaining, with his teammate also in towards the temple right now, this is so dangerous. He has to stick it. Can Risky Bob cover him is the question. He manages it with the Glock for a moment, but yeah, never mind. It's all Skrunk now.
Oh my god, even these low buy rounds, I mean, we saw it on the force buy out for Fire Flux. We see it here again. They just show that Fire Flux have got at least a few ideas up their sleeve, and whatever was said in that attack pause very, very nearly worked. It was potentially on the cusp being really awkward. And they made it expensive, hence why we see Lear come back in with his investment only being a Galil, but priority being around utility in that sense as well. 4 to 3.
Nasty deagle shots though. Can't really rely on that every round.
Exactly, exactly.
Oh, the run boost. Into the fire. Oh, that's no good.
Oh my
Does
god,
catch them off guard though. Oh, we saw the second player as well. It's risky to stick around for that second fight though. I think maybe tucking in and calling for Soulfly would have been the play.
Smoke down, Xanta. Just going to prioritize mid control. Risky Bob. Pushing in towards Red Room actually is a nice position to hold now. In a 4 versus 4, it's a very good angle, even as well as sort of cutting off rotations. But I think the other thing is just getting information about what this CT side setup is looking like. This Soulfly fight is super important, but they're going to hear him run away now. So that in itself is massive. Xanta, just 1 kill here coming out. Could be huge, and there it is. Massive one for him. He sticks around. I like this. Nade bank over as well. There is still another player in towards that cave, and he's made the smart decision to fall away. This round should be done. I actually think, as weird as it is, Fireflux should just call for an early save.
Yeah, looks like they agree with you. Not much hope on the 2 versus 4 retake. Save a couple of M4s forward. Even with that though, the vibe not really going to be available, I don't believe. Maybe a few pistols and Kevlar in behind those 2 M4s, but it leaves Nemiga in a solid position to keep on racking up these T rounds right now.
Scrunk. Maybe a kill towards the end of an exit. You'll take that, and yeah, he will take it. Risky Bob was clearing, but bit of an awkward peak for him nonetheless. They've called for a hunt here for Nemiga. I do like that call because they know that CT economy is still a little feeble, but in the end, also keeping on what you've got is not a bad way to go about it. 5-3. Oh, the kill at the end by Khan. That is crisp from him. All right, beautiful stuff. 5-3, Nemiga looking good. Buy, unfortunately for Fireflux, is probably going to be pretty minimal. So this should be that 6th for Nemiga, which I think, generally speaking, you're pretty happy with. In an even game, getting 6 on the T side, even if that's all you get, I think you are still pretty happy. The one thing that worries us is just we know both sides have looked bad on the CT side, and Nemiga, we're expecting those woes again to come forward. Both of these sides are just all about these T side executes, and not a lot in terms of their CT side protocols, unfortunately.
A single AK alongside those Deagles and a 5-7. Don't want to count them out, but should be Nemiga on track for a solid 6-3 half already past Burn, and oh, he goes around into the fire again. That is unfortunate. Down to 1 health. Maybe fortunate to even be alive, depending on what way you look at it.
Yeah.
Scrunk gets caught on mid. That's the 1 rifle down as well. I like the idea, trying to flank in, see if he can catch these players off guard. It just doesn't work out, and his teammates on the bomb site are being destroyed. The most damage actually being done, I believe, they're by a teammate on towards Khan. 1 or 2 kills on the exit, I think, really is the best they can hope for now.
Yeah, you can't really expect too much more, unfortunately. It is a done affair, and it will be that 6th for Nemiga, and especially for Nemiga, we can keep it flawless as well. Don't need to fight at the end there. Keep on to what we've got. I think we're pretty happy. Oh my god, there was a moment there. Banjo's hit a nice couple of shots all series long, but in particular early with that Deagle was pretty good as well. Soulfly tagged, but he'll get one before he falls, so any silver linings are good. Only unfortunate thing for him, though, there's no getting out of this alive. Either he dies to the rifle, as he did, or he was going down to the bomb. It was one or the other. 6th for Nemiga. Big response on them. We lost the force buy in the following rounds, but since the guns have been in play, it's actually only one-way traffic.
I am starting to get quite worried again here for Fireflux.
Yeah.
Promising early moments, but starting to trail behind once again. Really pushing the direction of B, it looks like, with a little bit more presence than we've seen any time before out in Nemiga. I think they want the direct hit on the B this time around. The problem is, unfortunately for them, a 3rd player has just rotated in this direction, so they have decent positioning, I was going to say, to try and make this a costly push. Paz out through the fire again, gets 2 of them. What a hold. He gives them a fighting chance here at the very least now. I think they may have to wait for the rotation to come through just to play out this 3-on-3.
You're right. Quick in towards the site, but Zwei will go down. So will Lear. All down to 1 man. Khan got to go huge AK in hand. Oh, the first was gifted.
What?
And somehow he lets it slip. That's an unfortunate way to make things fall apart there. He at least should have guaranteed 1. And unfortunately, it was, yeah, not meant to be. 6-4, Fireflux. They needed that. They'll take it. Still alive in some way. If we can recover to a 6th of their own, I think it's a handshake from both sides. And they're saying, all right, we've got something to work with here.
Yeah, lifeline definitely taken. Some whiffs for sure towards the end. Wall bang. Does some pretty solid damage. Paz takes a tiny bit in return and decides to bail. Happily giving up the control there of the cave. The first kill actually comes in elsewhere there. Soulfly. Paz don't want to get aggressive again. Didn't expect Lear to have pushed through. 23 health right now. Might just be hunted down and finished off. There you have it. We're not back into a 4-on-4 with still plenty of time for Nemiga to work with. They're still actively pursuing some more map control though, which could cost them. As you can see, it's Soulfly again. They knew he was in this area roughly, but they couldn't deal with it. The smoke immediately being dropped, so he can just hang on to the advantage. And well, I was going to say he's playing that well. The problem is the push is already starting to come through on B, but they don't have the bomb. That's going to be a big issue. They have to send Zvi to get it, and he's the only healthy player.
Yeah, true. This could be a little bit weird. He'll get it. He was a little nervous about that late flank, but you still commit towards B here regardless. You've got side control. You've got at least something to work with, but it doesn't help when Zvi goes down with that bomb that we spoke of. 40 seconds to recover it, and then try and do something behind that as well. And Soulfly's got more names to find. Just Lear. Down he goes as well, Soulfly. What a start for him, by the way. 17-7 in the early part of this game. Love and life, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, 6-5. Scoreline starting to close in again, and we just might see Flux, or well, most likely will see Flux tying it up for the half-time. Considering this buy is quite minimal here on the side of Nemiga. And what they can, of course, a couple of Galils, some Tech 9s, and a Deagle. We've seen a bit of success out of Flux on one of these weaker buys earlier, but on the T side, it can be a little bit more difficult to make it work, especially with such limited utility to actually try and take any early map control.
That's true. Final round of this half. If the Nemiga can somehow squeak out a 7th, they'd be so happy with it. Just because of, unfortunately, sort of how dicey these last few have been. But for Flux, showing that they've still got some competence themselves on these rifles. And I think any level of decent CT half, which Flux have already guaranteed, just 5 rounds alone is already, you're pretty okay with. I think for them, this is showing that that CT side was just a little bit of a faux pas in towards one map, and they've been able to show at least something here on Ancient, which again does worry us a little bit when we look ultimately at what Nemiga struggled to do at all. Paz waiting. A smoke fades, and pushing through it I don't love.
Soulfly again, and on the bomb site holding it down. It's going to be Lerdo who, with that Galil, makes it work to somehow pull them back into a 2-on-2. They haven't got fantastic health, nor have they got any utility bar, a single flash to work with, which is not ideal. Already being flanked out by Banjo as well, but that forces Vi to go ahead and push the issue towards the bomb site, and he wins out that initial fight. There's a bit of time to go ahead and reposition. Was expecting Banjo to try and flank around up ramp, I believe. Should realise pretty soon that that's not the case, and indeed now hooks himself in so that he can play off of this bomb, and the time's already ticking away. There's utility to work with, a molly and a smoke, which could be both so useful, but the timing is perfect from Zvi. Pops out, shuts him down, and gives Nemiga that lead at the half-time. It's 7-5. We're going to go ahead and send it over to a little bit of a break, but when we come back, we need to see if Flux have it in them to fight for that third map.
I can never stop the boy before. I load my bags and hit the road.
Miles past, turning back, found my track, face the fact, she a cold one. Never gonna settle for none. Stay up every night till I won. Don't want a slow rise now. I'm confident opulence isn't a long ride out. When I look back now, I'm astounded. A quiet boy from old age, but always felt the world was a stage. Yeah. I celebrate one last late night. My old life ain't staying.
I pack my suitcase, headed out the door. I keep my shoes laced. 2,000 miles away from home. A couple dollars in my pocket, never stopped the boy before. I load my bags and hit the road.
I'm headed to LA. I'm headed on my way. I'm headed on my way to LA. Headed on my way to
Couple thousand miles, throw it on the dash. Shit, the 10,000 hours, can't let them pass. Well, I was putting time in, you was pulled up wildin'. You always had shit to say, now when I see you, it's silence. Thought I have a Grammy by 25. Commas after commas next to dollar sign, yeah. Remind myself why I'm living this life. Look at all the late nights, it'll all come in due time, yeah.
Made for the fight, for the pain and the climb. Tied to the life I chose. Stay through the night, another day, not a dime. Race against time. I couldn't just lay by and wonder what I could have made mine. I'm closing on the moment, no one's gonna hold me down.
I pack my suitcase, headed out the door. I keep my shoes laced, 2,000 miles away from home. A couple dollars in my pocket, never stopped the boy before. I load my bags and hit the road.
Welcome back. 7-5 is where we are at. It's a much closer game, but it still hasn't changed in terms of maybe the quality, I think, is probably the way we put it. Very scrappy. It feels like control is something that both teams are really vying for, but the quality still yet to be seen. Pistols have been good for Nemiga. 3 for 3 so far. Mid presence taken. A bit of presence over towards B as well. It's just one man towards A. Risky Bob got to do a lot here.
Yeah. Gonna be a little bit of assistance, I would imagine, by Khan, but he needs the initial hold, and that's not gonna happen. It's the P250 that takes his head clean off. Khan gets overruns. Vi does what he can and actually comes away with 2 somehow, which gives the dual Berettas the fighting chance that they need to shut it down, and it's Xanther who just sprays and prays with those headshots that come true. That's going to be an 8th round on the board for Nemiga. And looking at the scoreboard, you need to see how much work Soulfly has been putting in throughout this game on 20 kills right now, over double that of the second best player.
So showing
Sensei
why,
again still hasn't woke up.
Yeah, showing as well why he's just, the highest rated player, or second highest rated player, might I say, coming in towards this game in the entirety of ESL Challenger League EU. And he's got some real good tricks up his sleeve. Yeah, exactly. But he does need a little bit of support, and not to be. 8th is massive, and no force buy for Fireflux, so it should be a 9th behind it as well. That's a nice buffer zone to have.
Full eco here, so not expecting much of a challenge from Fireflux, but knowing this game, this is probably where they'll get it the closest. Xanther, decent headshot. Realizes now that he's not up against helmets at the very least after that initial kill, and well, with the help of the MP9, they tear things apart there on middle. Soulfly left alone. As I said, playing well so far throughout this game, but a 1 versus 5 with just the P250, probably just a tiny bit too much to ask of him. 1 or 2 kills would be a great addition though, but even that's going to be a real challenge.
You take it. You take it. Is it going to happen though? Probably not. I should be seen off momentarily, dink and drop. Flawless for Nemiga. Exactly how we want it. And, well, that being said, there's a nice buffer zone for this CT side. But this is where, if you look back towards Anubis, where things did kind of rapidly fall apart a little bit themselves, right? We saw how where Nemiga, the second the guns came up for Fireflux, they struggled. And I think Nemiga realizes as well, hence why we've got attack pause to come through. It's one of those where I think for Nemiga, they understand that because of how rough things looked in towards that map number 1 and how they really lost control, they just cannot afford to give even an inch towards Fireflux, because they will run away with things if given the chance. This is a very important round for Nemiga. To spell all the nerves on your shoulders to win a bonus buy like this would be massive.
Yeah, if they lose this round, though, it's going to be another 11-5 scoreline, which is actually a position we've seen them in for a while on that previous map as well. Claude is so close before they fell short. They do not want to let that happen here again. With the weaker weapons though in play still for Nemiga, chances do look decent early on paper, at least for Fireflux. Let's see what they have to say. Spots the shoulder. Scrunk doesn't want to stick around. It's actually the molly that gets dropped in case there was a quick rush to follow it up. Paz eats a grenade on mid, and well, Sensei I think also took some of that damage, so it's not a great start for Fireflux. They haven't seen anyone and they're already getting weakened heavily. Soulfly though pops out through the smoke. He knows there's a third player down below. Can't quite deal with it though, as Khan has him covered. Sticking around on mid after getting that trade though was very risky for Khan. Xanther all alone.
It's doable though. This is the thing.
Got
an
a kit
M4
as well.
and 2 players who are low. Yeah, a kit. Got a flash. I'm not going to count them out just yet. Xanter's pulled off a couple of heroic moments for this side, especially in sort of Flamus's absence. Absence, may I say. So yeah. Oh, hang on. He's getting close here. Got a CT set up, one in towards Donut. He's trying to leave things late. He's going for that ninja defuse. Oh, they spotted him out. That's so unfortunate. Nice idea. Unfortunate about the execution right at the end there. He went for a ninja defuse. If he had a smoke, I genuinely believe he could have had a chance there. Scrunk will go down to the bomb nonetheless. So an expensive round for Fireflux in the sense of the bodies they lose, but ultimately, it is still a 3-round game, and it's Fireflux who start their first gun round well, which has got to put a little bit of those nerves back in towards an Nemiga camp.
Yeah, full rifles this time, basically, bar one MP9 on alert. Fireflux, though, if they take this round, force the eco, suddenly they're up towards 8 rounds, and we have a real game on our hands. This is the round that could give us a matchup here for sure.
Oh.
Tons of damage. Scrunk doesn't get away. Zwei must have swung wide on that angle, hunted him down, and has given a very early man advantage here to Nemiga. They need to be careful not to throw away. This could be dangerous for Xanther. Drops the smoke. Minimal damage taken. As his position, it's expected, I think, by Khan, or at least he knows it's a possibility, but he's going to hold it for the moment and might not expect Paz to have already passed the angle. Never mind, he checks it, and he's not going to be missing that one.
Big round brewing here for Nemiga. You win this one, you probably get not only, of course, the 10th, but the 11th behind it, with money being flat over towards the Fireflux side. This could be one of the final nails in the coffin if things continue at this rate. It's a slight double setup in towards Cave. Oh, Xanther doesn't clear that though. Does Leah get cleared? The answer's going to be yes, but messily enough that Xanther can rotate back over. Nice shot by Sensei. Swinging a hit though from Xanther for a second. Knows where the last guy is. He threw that flash. That information's been relayed over. 30 seconds. Bomb's going to go down, but even then, anything behind it would be unlikely. And he doesn't even get the luxury of a bomb plant as well. 10 for Nemiga. No bomb plant for Fireflux. No buy. There's the 10th, and it should be the 11th to follow suit nice and easily.
Yeah, it's a big problem for Fireflux. Win out one round, immediately get returned on, and now they're on an eco. Gonna be 11-6 before they have a chance to actually fight this again. I wouldn't even imagine they're gonna bother spending on pistols really in this one. Paz could buy one, but beefing up this potentially final buy for themselves is really where all their focus should be at this point.
Alrighty. Well, second attack pause going to be called here by Fireflux. Last time they called it, they didn't win the round, but they, I mean, at least made it really, really close. And that in itself would help settle some of the nerves that they're having. But they're on the brink of the 2-0 here, Nemiga. They are basically one gun round away from it.
fully invested. This is super
call.
risky. It could pay, I mean,
Oh.
high risk, high reward. Potentially, if it pays off, they're right back on track, and the economy of Nemiga would have been pretty much broken. But if it doesn't work, they're left with a similar force buy in the following round, and they've already lost one player. It's a decent flash, though, to allow Banjo to come back in with one entry. The problem is, as they come up ramp, they are getting mowed down, caught in the smoke. Skrunk and Sensei left alone, and these are the two players that really have been struggling. Skrunk stepped it up a little bit here on this second map, but they're going to need something crazy in this 2-on-4 to try and keep themselves alive in this game, pretty much. And, well, there we go. Sensei hits a decent deagle shot. That's an M4, I believe, that could potentially be recovered, but they will have to deal with Zvi before they can get it. And, well, it's only Sensei right now. He's gone in alone to try and recover the weapon, and he hits another deagle shot. Sticks around for more fights, and it doesn't work out, unfortunately. Despite it being the op of Khan and the shot having been missed, he has time to fall back on the USP, and now they've got a 2-on-1 against Skrunk. Pinned back in the temple. The bomb not planted very long at all, so there's still a ton of time to work with. A couple of smokes and a molly as well that they can block these angles off with, and, well, it looks like Xanter's just going to go ahead and stick it. Khan can hold off those couple of seconds. Actually didn't stick it, did hop off it in the end. Pretty much would have had the defuse. I don't think it's going to cost them anything in the long run, but I guess they were a little bit worried that maybe he wasn't towards the temple in the end.
Yeah, I gotta say, a bomb plot out of that round is maybe a little bit of a lifeline to Fireflux, but maybe is the sort of operative word there, because you're still gonna have to come in with a bit of a, again, sort of force buy as your response to it. 11 for Nemiga, and now you've got another big decision for Fireflux. Buy in again here and try and hope that we can win something out of nothing, or play for overtime, neither of which are kind of a good spot to be in. And hence why they call for a pause. I like this. You know, don't take the risk. You've got this pause to use. Take a breather and decide, what are we actually doing here? It feels like with Sensei's investment that we are just going to be force buying in. And I think you would do that naturally. For Fireflux, you've not got much left to lose anymore, so why not?
Yeah, I'm glad they've used this final pause. Nemiga were a little bit sparing with our own pauses on the previous map when things started going south. They had waited a long time to start using them, and I think only called in their second one right towards the end when they finally found that last bit of success. Fireflux have used up all three now at this point. Well, they've got 4 Galils and an AK to work with. Very limited utility as well. It really is all or nothing here.
Yeah, you're alright. Let's see. Now or never, really, for Fireflux to save face, and unfortunately for them, it's a lackluster T-side this time, which is, again, sort of not what we expected. Nice nades on towards Paz. He's lucky he gets out when he does. That second one would have done a serious amount of damage. Soulfly can't do really enough damage, and it gets worse for Banjo as he also gets caught. Zwei and Leah shutting it down. A swing from Risky Bob, finding another. They'll know. They should know at least there's another player in towards elbow with that bit of util that they saw. And another smoke that comes down. Fireflux 2v4. And with Paz 1 foot in the grave is not a good spot to be in.
No, they've been torn apart. Paz on the brink of death here as well. Skrunk again is the one that's left to do the majority of the work, as they creep back in the direction of, I believe, mid. They will find Khan very aggressive. The Opera, I was going to say, is probably their best chance of a shot, is missed to take a kill uncontested. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen. Khan is not missing. Leaving Skrunk alone. Never mind, he's missing now a little bit. Damage being done either way. He's not allowed to retreat. Gets hunted down with the USP. It's 12-6. We've got map and serious point now here for Nemiga. Train looking quite unlikely unless Fireflux have another crazy comeback just waiting for us in reserve right now.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it feels like that's their chance gone, though. Gone to with Lost Runners, we can bring whatever we can to the table. Got 1 AK. Any more around it, of course, is not a possibility. The best in support is maybe a Mach 10. And that belt of Util, and even that they're not going to go for. So 1 AK, 1 Deagle, 3 Tech 9s. Now or never. Molotov will come out to just stop that donut push. And Risky Bob's going to respect it as well. Flashbang comes through. We'll blind out the mid players. Nice shot though from Risky Bob. Looks for more. Will get it as well. Spam of Zwei. Nets 1-2. Through that smoke in Red Room. This is probably curtains, unfortunately, for a Fireflux side who have not offered up basically anything in towards This map number 2. Worse so, of course, than what we saw in towards Anubis. And unfortunately, it's fallen flat when it mattered most. We did question the pick at times a little bit for Nemiga, but hindsight's a beautiful thing, and it's looking pretty good right now. 2 left remaining. It's a Deagle and a Tech 9. As they move over towards A. First is found. Looks for the second. Missed shot. Pulls out the pistol as well. Trying to style them a little bit, but it's can't. He gets double 2 close it 13-6. Nemiga close out the series 2-0. And Flux, unfortunately, not the show that they would have wanted. Nemiga, that's a big win for them in this group. Now going up to 2-1 is really, really good for them. Trying to push that top spot and trying to push